I'd like to start by thanking the Huron Valley AIA for inviting us to be part of this podcast. I'm Alan Cobb, Director of Design at Albert Kahn Associates. We actually were invited by the University of Michigan in 2002 to renovate about a half of the West Hall, 300,000 square feet. And in doing so, bring back the original qualities that Albert Kahn and his brother Julius created in this building. This building sets up the very wonderful diagonal through the U of M central campus with the arch. Thousands of students come through the arch on a daily basis, and you really begin to see the internal part of the central campus from this diagonal walkway. Key elements in the architecture together with the arch are the copper towers that occur on either side of the arch and are real icons in the U of M central campus landscape. The West Hall project, in the context of the adjoining buildings, Albert Kahn, of course, has been involved with the library projects for the University of Michigan, and to the right here is the undergraduate library joining to West Hall. And Hall does continue through being a total of about 300,000 square feet. This project represents 100 years of Albert Kahn Associates working with the university. And when we opened the project in 2003, it represented a whole number of projects and efforts that the firm has taken on with the university. This is the second building that Albert Kahn did for the University of Michigan, and the first building on the U of M Central campus, marking the southwestern corner of the campus and setting up this wonderful arch and diag. This was Albert Kahn's first opportunity to work with the regents of the University of Michigan. The renovation project included redesign of the spaces for anthropology and physics, the School of Information, the Department of Statistics, as I mentioned before, and also the School of Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering. And right now we're in the tank room in the basement of West Hall, originally designed by Albert Kahn for the School of Naval Architecture. Very unique room. We renovated the lighting of this space. This space has been used for over 100 years for designing the hull of boats and ships used in the Great Lakes primarily, but very, very interesting engineering space. We're standing in the Statistics Administration Department in the West Hall building of the University of Michigan Central Campus. We started this project really in an investigation mode, realizing that rediscovering the invention that was in this building, the inventions of Albert Kahn and his brother Julius, really was the most important part. Since we were only renovating about half the building, we thought that using some of the interesting architectural and engineering details in the building as the primary design element was really more important than anything we could do. That Albert and his brother used as really fertile experimentation ground to develop some of the theories and concepts that they wanted to explore further. Albert really needs maybe a little background to tell you the relevance of this. Albert was born as the oldest child of 8 to an immigrant German family. He was actually born in Germany, came to the U.S. and to Detroit when he was 11 years old. Actually, the family had relatives in Detroit, and he soon, upon coming, had to give up his formal education. The family advancing their theological studies, and there wasn't as much opportunity in the Detroit area as they had hoped. Albert had to take part-time jobs during very difficult financial times for the family. And he became befriended by George Mason, a very important architect to the development of the city of Detroit, and a founder of the firm Mason and Rice. Albert actually was a prodigy in music, but really couldn't follow that and make any money at that point in time. He was 12 years old. But as he became more of a draftsman and artist, he found great talent in his drawing ability, and George Mason became his mentor really throughout his whole career. He took very seriously his role in giving his siblings, his brothers and sisters, opportunities to continue their education. And in fact, the 7 brothers and sisters did all finish college, and one person in particular, Julius, who was the second oldest, completed his engineering degree from the University of Michigan and helped Albert with much of his career in the projects that they took on, as well as the West Hall project. This project was originally called the Engineering Building, was later called West Engineering. In fact, the signage on the building indicates the title is West Engineering. However, the building is called West Hall today. And with the foundation and formation of the firm Albert Kahn Associates, Albert was one of the first architects to bring engineers together in his firm. And his brothers actually helped him with that. And Julius was the chief engineer in his firm as they started the process of founding their firm. Julius graduated from the University of Michigan, as I mentioned, and had 2 years of professional development in Japan, where he worked for a steel and iron manufacturing company. Coming back to the U.S. with many very interesting ideas and new concepts of how steel might be used in the construction industry. And in fact, he experimented with those ideas on this building, on this project. This project is very important as the southwest corner of the University of Michigan's central campus. And in fact, the main arch of this facility sets up the very important diag that became a real icon for this campus. And as Albert and Julius began the development of this, they tested a lot of theories and concepts with construction. This project is actually constructed with a number of different structural principles: load-bearing masonry, reinforced concrete, steel plate riveted truss work. In fact, in this space, you see some of the riveted truss work. The roof itself was a wood truss roof with steel tension members used in the facility. And in this space, you can see how we actually tried to expose some of the early structural concepts and really make them part of the design and the interior design of the facility. Of course, Albert and Julius did many things out of what came to be several items patented out of the design of this building. The deformed reinforcing bar was something that was invented designing this building. Also, the trussed concrete reinforcing system was a patent that was derived from this building and others. In fact, used on the Highland Park Ford assembly plant, as well as the Packard assembly plant and many early industrial automotive projects. Little known fact is that Julius contributed with the structural design for the Imperial Hotel, working with Frank Lloyd Wright. And in fact, that building, using the trussed concrete reinforced method, was one of the few structures that withstood the famous Tokyo earthquakes of the early 1900s. So it's very interesting that this building provided the foundation that Albert and Julius used to continue their practice and do great things. This building had a number of things that we uncovered as we developed the renovation plan for the project, a phased plan. The university and the firm really had very little existing building documentation, and so we needed to do a number of explorations to the inner workings of this building to be able to come up with the refined interior design concept. Many things like the reinforced concrete, as I mentioned, and the structural capacity of the structure of the reinforced concrete in this building was astounding. Our structural engineers actually were amazed at what was accomplished with very slim and nimble concrete members. Also, the idea of a cavity floor was implemented on this project. We discovered a sizable cavity floor that was formed in the concrete to allow piping and conduit electrical primary service and also IT would be fed through this. Really an early version of our modern raised floor concept was part of the design of this project. Also very early glass tiles and skylights, something that I was very intrigued by. Albert always brought natural light and appropriate light to the work tasks and the projects that he designed. And here in West Hall, in the upper areas of the building, we're actually on the 4th floor right now, we find a cast glass tile that fits into the clay and terracotta tile roof system, providing natural light to the drafting rooms that were spread across the 4th floor here. So there are many things that were innovative, and some of the things were patented as a part of developing this building, very important building to the University of Michigan and to the firm of Albert Kahn Associates.